Hey everybody, Randy here with Stay Broke Business Consulting. Welcome to day 64 of building $1 million business in 1 year. So if you're new here, we started a business 64 days ago. We're a consulting firm where we try to help business owners through our operational abilities, help them fix little inefficiencies, come up with a good business plan and move to achieve their goals. If this is your first video, go and check out the last 64 days. We've been through a lot and we're going over a lot in the process, so make sure you get caught up and we'll move forward with it. Good topic for today's video, or tonight's video, is talk about sacrifice, the types of sacrifices it takes to build a successful business. Like I've said before, I don't think everybody's cut out to be a successful entrepreneur. There's an obsession that comes with it, and there's sacrifices that come with it, and some people aren't willing to make that, and that's fine. Some people are just trying to get a paycheck, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being self-employed. It just has its limitations. What we're trying to do is constantly overachieve. When I started this business, it was just to start the business and do a little social media. We get a few days into it and all of a sudden I'm committing to doing a video a day for a year, and now we set $1 million goal by the end of the year, and everything evolved very quickly. And it's because I don't know how to stop sometimes, and I tend to start off in a good place and then I shoot for the stars. But that's why I've gotten to the point that I've gotten to. It's Monday, it's Labor Day, and usually my oldest daughter Zoe, she comes up on Sundays for dinner. She just got back from Las Vegas from a competition where she won gold. She needed some rest yesterday, so we decided to have her up today since we're all off today. So we just got done with dinner. But this is one trip that my wife and I look forward to all year, is going to Vegas with her for her competition, because we get to support her in her competitions, and then we get to go have a little fun around Vegas. We didn't get to go last year because right before the competition, Zoe broke her foot while she was preparing for Jiu-Jitsu Con and had to have an emergency surgery. So we had to cancel the trip last minute. This year we've been looking forward to it, and then we've just been so busy the last couple months between all the activities, my daughter's horse shows, volleyball, all the things we have going on. My wife's been traveling to support the horse shows, and we've had family in town. We've done a whole bunch of stuff. It's all on videos. If you want to see what we've been doing, go check it out. But it's just been real busy the last couple months, so we've been absolutely exhausted. The kids are tired. They just started school last week, and that's the hard thing about this trip, is it's always at the end of the first week of school. So last minute we decided not to go this year, and if we hadn't started this new business venture, we would have been in Vegas having fun, cutting it up, having a good time. But it's not just the new business venture either. It's we have a house that we're trying to sell that hasn't sold. We got a lot of money tied up in that. I have a commercial property that's sitting stagnant that I'm paying for that I need to develop. We just have a lot of different things going on. Our utility company has been killing it, but with the mortgage rates and the slowdown in sales of residential properties, new construction mainly, we haven't been hitting our numbers the last 2 months. So I got to bring that into account, and just all these things come into play with every decision I make. And our decision was that it's not best to go to Vegas right now. We need to stay here, keep everything moving, save a little bit of money in the process, and spend time as a family, kind of trying to calm things down and get our kids into the groove with the first week of school. Now we'll be heading into the second week of school tomorrow. It's a bummer. Like I said, it's something we look forward to every year. We've been doing this for, I guess, 5 years now that my daughter's been going to this competition. So we really, really enjoy it. But what other sacrifices have I made before starting Stay Broke Business Consulting? Like I said, our utility company was doing amazing, and I didn't really have anything to do on a day-to-day basis. I was just kind of doing what I wanted to, and it wasn't great. I wasn't enjoying it. I wasn't really needed. I didn't have anywhere to be or anything that I had to do a lot of days. And for me, that's not healthy. I start to get depressed and just don't know what to do with myself. So starting this business, it was the perfect timing. We've been planning it for 2.5 years, and I've been taking my time, making sure that all of the other pieces and parts were in place. Like I talked about, we got out of a couple businesses that were kind of bringing us down. We sold off some commercial property. We sold off some residential property. Like, we just really had to do a lot of things to make sure we were prepared to go into this 100%. And I'm glad we did everything the way we did. We finally launched our website last week, which is amazing. That's something that we've been waiting on. So now it's really time to hit the go button to try and make up, our deficit for what we've been bringing in. This month will be our first month actually invoicing our new clients, and with our website, we really need to start going after more consulting clients. We got a lot of ground to make up if we're going to hit $1 million in revenue by the end of the year. For the utility company, what did I sacrifice to start that? Which I keep referring to it because it's still active. It's our most successful company I've ever built, and it's what pays my bills. That's what affords me the opportunity to do these other things. But to build that company, I went through a lot. And I want to get more into detail. We'll do a video on this one day where I really get into detail about it. But there was, partnerships that started and dissolved. There was buyouts. There was COVID. There was, I went and worked for a builder for a whole year, and I was absolutely miserable doing that job, but I was doing it to look for the right opportunities. And quitting my job, not having a steady paycheck with 5 kids at home. Like, there was a lot of stuff I sacrificed to start GCS Utilities, and it all paid off in the end. But I've made those sacrifices before starting other companies, and it didn't pay off, right? So along the way, I got involved in other things. I bought a old country store and bottle shop. It was kind of like we had a pool table. It was kind of like a bar. I refer to it as a bottle shop because we didn't have liquor. But, I bought into that with plans of fixing it up and having somebody kind of run it or take it over for me. That never panned out. Spent 2 years running that place, just keeping it afloat. The time was not worth the money I was making. I've made all these choices along the way and sacrificed a lot, but it's figuring out which things are worth sacrificing for and which ones aren't. Like, yeah, we're doing all this on social media, and we have this $1 million goal, which, like I've said before, that's our hook. That's trying to bring people in to consume our content, see what we do. But at the end of the day, we're building a real business. This is something that, like I said, we've been planning for 2.5 years, but this is something I want to do long into the future. This is what I really enjoy. I've learned along the way that I don't enjoy operating a business. I don't enjoy the day-to-day nonsense. I don't enjoy, the employees calling off, hiring, firing, dealing with the budgets, dealing with all this stuff. Like, that's not what I really enjoy. I enjoy fixing problems. I enjoy building something. I enjoy helping people. These are the things I enjoy, and this business, this firm gives me or affords me that opportunity to do the things I really enjoy. I enjoy traveling with my wife and with my family, and like, all these things can come into play here. I can do all of that. I can help other small business owners. I can help with projects. I can fix problems. I can travel to do it. We want to make this thing national. I want to travel all over the United States. That means my wife, who works remotely, her and I can go anywhere and do this stuff and help people out and make money doing it. This is something I can do forever. The whole reason I started our utility company was because one day I was working for this guy, and he was HVAC, plumbing, and remodel kind of business. And I was watching him walk and complain about it, and he was walking kind of bow-legged, and we were going into a crawl space one day, and the next day we're going into an attic where, in North Carolina in the middle of the summer, you're walking into 115, 120 degrees into an attic to replace a HVAC unit. And I was like, man, I do not want to be doing this when I'm 40 years old. Like, that's not who I want to be. So that's when I started really searching. And at the same time, there was another guy that went to the church I was working at as a youth minister. And he was the same thing. He was super successful, had all these properties, had built this magnificent house, had an amazing construction company. But again, he could barely walk. He's been going up and down ladders his whole life, and he has trouble getting around. And then he fell off a ladder, just a 7-foot ladder, ended up puncturing his lung, breaking some ribs, like just destroyed his body, ended up in an ICU, and ended up in the hospital for, weeks, trying to recover from this. And it was like, man, this is my future if I stay on the path I'm on right now, doing the stuff I'm doing. And that's not what I want for me, and that's not what I want for my family. And that's when I decided to take a job working for a production builder and spend a year working for them to figure out what company I was going to build next. Because I knew I didn't want to be just another framer or just another trim carpenter or something that everybody else could go do if they wanted to do it. And there's nothing wrong with those businesses. I was a trim carpenter for years, and I enjoyed it while I was doing it, but that's just something I can't see myself doing into my 40s, 50s, and 60s, right? So I sacrificed a year working for a business, not getting paid enough money, and eventually found a need, and we built a company to fill that need. And that's how GCS Utilities was born. But that was a rough year. It was all worth it. We didn't know it was going to work out when I started it. I took a leap of faith. My family was on board. It took some convincing, but my wife was on board for sure by the time we actually pulled the trigger on it. She saw what I was trying to do. She went to a few meetings with me and saw the need for it, saw the money that could be involved with it, and we dove in. And I was trying to take my experiences from building other businesses that had failed, businesses that were affected by a downturn, and try to build something that was resistant to those things, which nothing can be completely resistant to the economy, but I can do a lot of things to make sure when there's a downturn that we're able to survive it gracefully, by scaling down, and then when things are good, scaling up. And that's what I did. And I didn't expect it to get tested so soon, but COVID happened not that long into our business journey, and we were really put to the test, and we survived it without getting rid of any employees. Some left during the process, but we were able to maintain, and we came out the other side of it dramatically stronger and more efficient. And we've continued down that path for years now and have built an amazing business. And now we want to share those experiences and those sacrifices with everybody else. If we can help entrepreneur avoid making just a couple of the mistakes that we made, it can carry them a long way. Or if we can help share our experience of what worked and it helps get them out of a bind, then we're doing something positive. So I think that's it for today's video, right? A little bit of sacrifice, a little bit of chasing our dreams, and a little bit of this is what got us here, and I'm excited about it. Missed being in Vegas last weekend, but my daughter did amazing without us there, so good for her. Yeah, if you haven't seen them all, go check out our other videos. And if you like our content at all, then make sure you like, follow, and subscribe so that you can see the stuff we have coming up. We got a interview coming up this week with JB's Pool Care. He's one of the top pool companies in the United States. He won an award for the top 30 under 40 for pool cleaners or pool guys, and he's been kind of doing his thing, and I'm excited to hear about it. He was a collegiate athlete and went through a bunch of stuff to get to where he's at now, and I'm excited to talk to him about his journey. So like I said, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss any of this cool stuff that we're getting to do and these awesome entrepreneurs that we're getting to talk to. And that's it. As I always say, stay broke.